In your high-end apartments, you can actually preview the modifications before you buy them. So instead of buying any different styles before you actually get the apartment, jump inside the apartment, go into your interaction menu, and then preview all of them while you're walking around the apartment. This is going to save you a lot of money so you don't end up buying one that you don't actually like once you get inside, so make sure you're doing this. If you're like me, when you're in the nightclub trying to grind money, it's really annoying weaving in and out of all of the people that are on the dance floor. Well, you can actually remove every single person from your nightclub through the interaction menu, go into your nightclub management tab, and then set it to a private club. Don't worry, this won't affect your popularity of your nightclub at all. All it's gonna do is make it a lot easier to get around. A big mistake a lot of players make on PS5 and Xbox Series X is using an HSW car for your HSW time trials. Don't get me wrong, you can do it in a car, but by far the fastest vehicle and easiest vehicle to use for these time trials is the Hakuchu Drag. It's the only HSW bike in the game, and trust me, once you start using this bike, you are gonna breeze through all of these time trials pretty much first go. Most players have probably just dismissed all of the MC Clubhouse contracts as a bad way to make money. But that's not actually true. There is one that pays pretty well and is very quick. So if you're doing MC contracts, make sure you do life and death bikes. It can be done completely solo, and it can be done in about 3 minutes if you get the right spawns. And $30,000 in about 3 to 5 minutes is really good. So don't waste your time with other MC contracts, make sure you're doing life and death bikes, it's very easy. If you just bought the hangar, there's a good chance you're getting the wrong cargo for your hangar. What a lot of players don't actually know is the type of cargo that you source is very important because it actually has stacking bonuses, and all of them are on your screen now. So for tobacco and counterfeit goods, for every 5 crates you get, you'll get an extra 5%. For the next 3, for every 10 crates, you're going to get 12%. And then for the top 3, for every 25 crates you get, you'll get an extra 35%. So for example, if you got 50 crates of chemicals, you would get an extra 70% when you go and sell it. You're probably missing out on a lot of money, so from now on, make sure you're using this properly and don't lose any more money. One of the payphone hits has you pick up someone in a taxi. Now, we've spoken before about calling in your own taxi from Pegasus, and using this, it's a lot easier. But you might not actually know that you can also use your own Broadway or Eudora car that has a taxi livery on them as well. So you don't just need to use a taxi. If you have a taxi livery on one of your cars, you can just use that car as well. Makes it a lot quicker and easier to spawn in and get this mission done. One of the most frustrating contact missions in the entire game is on Parade. Mainly because you have to kill 1 or 2 Avengers depending on the difficulty you're doing it on. But there's an easy way to kill these Avengers really quickly without even shooting them. All you need to do is fly your jet really close to the water, like you see me do here. So we'll just look at the Avenger behind us. You can see he crashes into a rock or something. He's a bit dumb. But eventually, he will try and get down close to us on water level, and he'll just end up sinking in the drink. So if you're struggling with this one, just do that. We've spoke about changing which target your homing launcher is locking onto, but you can also do this with any aircraft that has homing missiles. While you're flying, if you don't want to lock onto the target that you're locking onto, just press L1 or R1 and it'll change target. On Xbox, that's LB or RB, and PC, that's page up or page down. One of the coolest parts with the Cayo Perico Heist update was the 10 hidden caches underwater. Now, these change every single day, but did you know you can actually just sort of cheese this and find all 10 in one go, as long as you're in your Torador. So take out your Torador, put it underwater, and then all 10 are just going to pop up on your map. The thruster is one of the most underrated vehicles in the entire game. The main reason is you just can't get killed with lock-on missiles from the back. As you can see in this footage here, as long as you're flying directly away from the target that's trying to lock onto you, for whatever reason, the missiles just aren't gonna blow you up. There's like a force field around you or something, I don't know. Another tip with the thruster is it's one of the few weaponized vehicles that you can actually fly while you're in passive mode. So use that as you will. With any helicopter that has gunners in the back, like the Valkyrie for example, you can actually switch seats in the back of the helicopter without hopping out. All you need to do is press right or left on your D-pad and your character is just gonna move across to the other gun. You've probably heard that weapons like the tactical SMG are the best guns to use while you're driving a car. The reason for that is they're one-handed weapons, so you can shoot them while you're driving. But one of the best weapons to use is actually the SMG Mark II with FMJ rounds. This one's heavily slept on and heavily underrated. You can shoot it while driving, and because of the FMJ rounds, it's gonna penetrate through those bulletproof windows of people chasing you very, very easily. So I recommend giving this one a go. For any mission when you need to take out a moving vehicle, you're probably doing this wrong. If you aren't already, make sure you start using the compact EMP launcher. So instead of trying to drive around and take out the driver of any moving vehicle, you can actually just shoot it once with the EMP launcher, and the vehicle is going to come to a complete stop, making it a lot easier to either hijack the vehicle or take out the driver once the vehicle's standing still. One of the best changes Rockstar made to the hangars was introducing an entirely new set of land sell missions. So you should be selling all of your hangar stock through these land sell missions, but the tip I'm going to give you is when you're doing it with friends, it's going to spawn multiple vehicles. But this is actually a little bit misleading because you don't need to complete all of those deliveries with all of the different vehicles. You can actually just blow up all of the other vehicles except for one and complete all of the sales using just that one vehicle. That way, instead of your friends driving around the map trying to do these missions as well, they can just protect you in an armored vehicle. This is one of those ones that most of us probably should know, but I'm sure a lot of us don't. If you hop in an ambulance, it's going to give you full health. On the other hand, if you hop in a riot van from the police, this is going to give you max armor. So if you ever see one of these vehicles lying around in one of your missions, jump in them for a second and then hop out. Payphone hits and security contracts are really good ways to make money with the agency, but I still see so many people doing this wrong. If you want to save time, you don't actually have to go back to the agency to start up a security contract. You can actually just call up Franklin on your phone and request one. The advantage of going to the agency is you get to pick exactly which one it is, but this way is definitely a lot quicker. Now I know a lot of PvP players definitely know about this one, but for the rest of us, you may have forgotten about the Amani go out of sight option. This is going to activate a massive 500-meter circle on your map, and whenever you're inside that circle, no other players are going to be able to see you on the map. So definitely a good way to hide from griefers if you're struggling with that. You probably forgot about the most powerful weapon in the game, because you probably didn't know what it was. And the answer, well, it's actually the flak cannon on the AA trailer. This thing is absolutely insane. It will destroy the most armored vehicles in the entire game in just a few shots. Not joking, try it out for yourself if you need to. You will need to unlock the flak cannon through research in your bunker, but trust me, definitely worth it. This thing is very fun. Next time you get an invite on your phone in-game, instead of going into your phone and accepting it, just hold up on the D-pad. This is going to automatically accept the invite and put you straight into that lobby. There's a lot of ways to fast travel in GTA Online, but one that a lot of players don't use is the assistance helicopter. So I'm either reminding you about this or telling you about it for the first time. If you call your assistant, request the helicopter, and then hop in the back, it will fast travel you back to your CEO office. This is another one that all PvP players use, but it's going to be a useful tip for the rest of us. When you're flying any aircraft at night, don't sleep on night vision. I know a lot of us just don't use night vision, but for taking out any targets or other players, if you're trying to fight other players, this is almost a must-have. So if you haven't already, get yourself some night vision goggles and start having fun. Anyone who played GTA Online back in 2013, we know about this, but a lot of newer players don't. And that's how to correctly get paid for contact missions. Rockstar codes their games in a very strange way, but for whatever reason, the longer you stay in a contact mission before you complete it, the more money you're gonna get. So normally you want to spend about 15 minutes in a contact mission before you complete it, because if you complete it before that, you're not going to get the full payout. I know it doesn't make any sense, but this is just how the game works. If you're struggling with the original heists, this might help you out. In the Humane Labs raid finale, as soon as you leave your apartment, blow yourself up and then just restart from the latest checkpoint. That's going to teleport you all the way across the map to the Valkyrie, and it's going to save you from driving all the way up top of the map. Let's say, for example, you need to go all the way to the top of the map and then come all the way back. It's something pretty common in GTA Online, but here's how you're going to speed up that process. Get yourself an Amani Tech car and install the remote control vehicle option. Now park that car at the bottom of the map. Then you want to fly up to the top of the map using whatever helicopter or jet you have. And when it's time to come back to the bottom of the map, go into your interaction menu and drive your remote control car. Now what you want to do is start a job and then exit the job before you start, and the game will teleport you to where your remote control car was. That's going to save you a lot of time. You can actually turn most of your Pegasus vehicles into personal vehicles by taking them into your hangar or your Avenger workshop. This is something that I didn't know about for the longest time, kind of embarrassed to admit that, but start using it. Some outfits in the game actually give you passive abilities. For example, the one I use most often is racing suits, because racing suits actually do reduce the amount of damage you take when you're jumping off a bike, just like you would expect it would in real life. One of the most underrated tips for sourcing cargo with your CEO warehouse crates: the new auto shop or underwater lupe missions, they're so annoying. Especially those underwater ones, they take a really long time. So one way to avoid this is always source cargo through your terabyte instead of your CEO office. Don't know why, but for whatever reason, it doesn't give you those missions when you do it from here. Speaking of CEO crates, you're probably using these wrong. These things take a really long time to stock. You should be taking advantage of the technicians in your warehouse, but that's not the tip I want to give you. The tip I want to give you is never ever sell these until it's a double money week. For me personally, I let all of my warehouses sit fully stocked, just waiting until we get a double money cargo week. Normally we get about 3 or 4 of these a year, and if you've got full crate warehouses, you're gonna make over $30 million for selling all of them. So definitely wait until they're on double money. Sort of a random tip here, not sure why you'd want to use this one, but if you ever want to sit in the back seat of your own car, you can't normally do that, but for whatever reason, if you set yourself up as a CEO and then hold triangle once you get to the back door, you can sit in the back seat. There you go, now you know. One of my favorite weapons in the entire game is the heavy revolver. It's insanely underrated. What you want to do is go and put the FMJ rounds on it. And I'm not joking, you can actually one-tap a lot of helicopters with this. In a lot of situations, this is better than a railgun. When you're driving on the highway or any main road really, if you flip your camera the wrong way and drive on the wrong side of the road, cars will stop spawning in front of your car. Because the game only actually loads in what you can see, so this is kind of a cool way to glitch the game out and get across the map faster if you need to. If you're ever doing a mission where you need to find a specific person in a specific circle or something like that, drive a vehicle that has lock-on missiles, because normally that vehicle is going to lock on to that person whenever they enter your vehicle's line of sight, so it's going to make it a lot easier to find them. When you're in free roam, make sure you're making use of your MOC, Acid Lab, or Terabyte, because whenever you go inside one of these, you're gonna instantly lose your wanted level. So if you're struggling to lose the cops and you can't call Lester or bribe the authorities for whatever reason, this is another optional way to do it. For the longest time, I used to struggle with vehicle cargo sell missions in my vehicle warehouse. Now, one of the safest ways to sell these cars is to use a cargo bob, but if you don't want to do that, instead, you can actually just park the car somewhere safe during the sell mission, and then 4 waves of enemies are gonna spawn. Once you take out all 4 waves of enemies, no more enemies will spawn, and you can just get in and drive to the location. Also in your vehicle warehouse, make sure you hold 10 low range and 10 medium range vehicles. That way, the only other vehicles that the game is gonna let you source will be high-end vehicles. So make sure you get 10 of those and then never ever sell them. Only sell the high-end vehicles, and then you can just continue sourcing them after you sell them. The bunker is one of the best businesses in the entire game to make money passively, but a lot of people are using it wrong. If you're a solo player, 1 full resupply will get you $210,000 of stock. That's when you should sell it. If you resupply the bunker again, having any more product means that you'll probably have 2 or more sell vehicles, which is going to make it very hard to sell this product in a public lobby and get that high demand bonus. When selling your nightclub stock, Tony will always take a 10% cut, but that's not actually completely true. That caps out at $100,000, which means if you sell over $1 million of product from your nightclub, Tony is still only going to take $100K. So it's a lot more profitable to fill up your nightclub as high as you possibly can and sell it then. You're still only going to get 1 sale vehicle, so don't worry about that, but it's just going to save you a bit of money with Tony taking less money. If you drive your favorite bike a lot, your motorbike, it's then going to become your favorite bike in the game, which means whenever you drive it, you automatically automatically get health regen, and it can fill you up to full health without even using snacks. And yes, that does include the Oppressor Mark II. Pre-saving a scuba suit into your outfits is one of the easiest ways to save yourself from drowning in any mission. So make sure you go and do this, because I'm sure you've encountered a lot of times where you need to dive underwater and you don't have a rebreather or a scuba suit, and then you just die from drowning. You can actually flip your car on different axes when you're in the air. So instead of just using the normal flip, if you just use L1 and R1, you can flip your car from side to side as well. A lot of players still don't know this, but you can actually zoom in further when you're aiming down sights in third person. If you just right click the analog stick, it's gonna zoom in additionally. I think the game only tells you this once at the very start, or it might not even mention it, so a lot of players still just don't know this. If you're ever doing a car meet and you want to roll down the windows without breaking them, if you actually just get in the driver's seat and emote out of the window, it's gonna roll the window down. You may wonder why a lot of PvP players are always playing in first person. One of the reasons is because when you're aiming down sights in first person and you strafe side to side, you actually strafe faster. So maybe give it a go. Using the drink pisswasser emote when you're starting a race will actually cause you to drive drunk. This isn't really much of a tip, more so just a way to have fun with friends if you want to do that. You are probably searching for matches wrong in GTA Online. If you ever wonder why no one can join your lobbies, or you can't seem to get any randoms to help you out with things, it might be because your matchmaking is set to close. You actually need to change this, so go into your options, go online, go options, then change matchmaking to open. If you ever wondered what your vehicle stats look like for your current vehicle, you don't actually need to take it to the LS Customs or the LS Car Meet. While you're in your garage, actually just press down on the D-pad and your stats are going to pop up. If your mechanic or interaction menu is on cooldown to call in your Oppressor Mark II, you can actually just start up an MC business and summon it next to you immediately a lot of the time. Just make sure you do disband your MC after that so that your MC businesses don't get raided. If you're in a CEO organization and you're on low health but you're out of snacks, if you stay near your CEO, you'll actually heal faster. Make sure you're making use of your weapon pickups in your businesses if you're a low level player. A lot of your businesses actually have weapons just lying around on the floor that you can go and pick up and get for free.
Favorite color, money green. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop.